Watching Car Nitty. My name is Mizan, and today I've got a Jaguar F-Type, and this one is sporting the amazing V6 supercharged engine.
No, it's not the V6, man.
It's not the V6, but it can't be the V8 because when you pulled in, I didn't hear a grumble. No. It is indeed a 4-cylinder. Now, I'll be honest, before this car was even offered to me, I had no idea there was even a 4-cylinder option. I mean, I find that quite mind-boggling, if I'm honest with you. Now, a lot of manufacturers choose not to offer a smaller engine with a car to maintain an upmarket image. The perfect example I can give you is an Audi A6 and an Audi A7. Both cars are built on the same platform, and the smallest engine you can get with the A6 is a 2-litre diesel, but the smallest engine you can get with the A7 is a 3-litre diesel. Why is that? It's because Audi want to maintain the image of the A7 as being a more executive car than the A6. So you've got to get a bigger engine to get into it. And typically that was the case with this until Jaguar decided we're going to do a 4-cylinder engine. So why did Jaguar do this? They thought that it would help boost sales. Now, in order to shift more units, the company has to do a few things. Number one is make it more accessible. Now, to a lot of people, a V6 or a V8 just isn't possible. So by putting a 4-cylinder in there, they're going to appeal to a wider market. I mean, it's not like the V6 and the V8 are no longer options. They're still there. This has just been offered alongside of it. And because of it's a 4-cylinder, it's cheaper to manufacture by Jaguar, which means the cost of production comes down. So they can offer it at a more cheaper price at brand new than a V6 or a V8. Then on top of that, maintenance is cheaper and running costs, fuel, everything drops down with it. So if you really think about it, this car can appeal to a very wide market because of that. Let's now talk about performance. Now, this may only be a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, but it does produce quite decent power. It produces 296 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. That's hardly slow if you ask me. That's similar numbers to what you can expect from a Mark 7 Golf R. And with this, you're getting a sleek sports car. And you do have to admit, that might sound appealing to a lot of people. This car is paired with a brilliant ZF gearbox with an 8-speed, which is obviously very common on BMW models, and it sends its power to the rear wheels. Now, with a 2-litre car, you can't get it in 4-wheel drive. It will always be a rear-wheel drive car. So when you think about it, it's not a bad proposition. A 2-litre 4-cylinder rear-wheel drive sports car. I mean, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound so bad, does it? So how much will a 4-cylinder F-Type cost you? Well, they start from around £30,000 for a used one. Now, the reason for that is that engine you can only get on a late 2017 model. You can't get it earlier than that. So this car, although it launched in 2013, the 4-cylinder was introduced quite late, and that's why the V6 is actually the cheapest way into an F-Type, funnily enough. One thing I'd like to add is, before we go for a drive, is how can you tell what engine an F-Type has by the back of it? Well, it's quite simple. This is the 4-cylinder, and as you can see, it's got one big exhaust in the middle. The V6 will have 2 pipes in the middle, much like my R32, not a Mark 5 GTI. And finally, the V8 will have a quad exhaust. And before we go for a drive, I just want to say, if you've got a Mark 5 and you've got a GTI, maybe you should put one of these exhausts on, one big exhaust in the center rather than copying an R32. Now, let's do a sound check and then we'll go for a drive. In the 2-litre F-Type, and we've got Monaf in the car.
What's up, everyone?
So I want to thank Monaf for coming down, and I also want to thank GX Drive because this car is in the GX Drive fleet. Now, for those watching, GX Drive is a car rental company, and this is one of the cars they have in the fleet, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is what so there's going to be a lot of talking points in relation to that and the fact that this is a 4-cylinder car. And I think it goes without saying that the reason why you bought a 4-cylinder Jag F-Type is because insurance is going to be a lot more easier to do with people taking the car out.
Way easier. Plus, it's not going to be your 25 plus insurance.
Yeah.
You can do it on a 22, 23.
Yeah.
Basically, if you can insure it, because it's a 2-litre, it's pretty much like a Golf R. If you can insure a Golf R, this is a piece
exactly. And it makes so much sense that, you know, why you go for a 2-litre, because let's be honest, if it was your own car, You want the V6 or the V8.
100%.
But because it's for rental purposes, it all starts to make sense, isn't it? Like,
Exactly,
why it's a 2 litre, why it's a Larry red colour?
Exactly.
Because again, it stands out.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to what you do as well, which is rentals, it's mainly for, you know, weddings, proms, events.
Video shoot, yeah.
And let's be honest, at those places, people take a picture of the car.
Exactly.
And in a picture, you don't know what's under the bonnet.
That's it, bro. It's just a show car.
It's a show.
It turns ahead. Yes, when it's driving past, because it's bright red.
Yeah.
It's like, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
It does. And the other thing as well is Jaguar is one of those brands as a British brand that you get respect from all kinds of people. Like even a middle-aged man that knows nothing about cars, he'll give you a thumbs up when he sees an F-Type, because it just gets a sense of respect compared to, let's just say, an Audi TT.
100.
They look at it and they're like, they don't give it that same attention. So I completely understand why you went for the 4-cylinder car. I think everyone watching can.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about GX Drive. So you obviously do car rentals and...
Yeah, so GX Drive was it was on and off, but we took it seriously about 2 years ago. We started off with, you know, your typical Golf R, your S3, you know, 5 Series and stuff. Now we're at that stage where we're trying to expand. We're trying to build the platform. We're trying to build the fleet. Yeah, build the fleet. So now we're introducing more sports cars, you know, high performance cars. Yeah. For example, like the Porsche Cayenne S we bought recently. Hopefully, we have a G63 on order as well.
Wow, that sounds good. The 4 litre bi-turbo.
Yeah, the new one. So yeah,
that's pretty exciting times ahead for GX Drive, and this is why you guys need to check them out, because with a growing fleet that's coming, that means that if you guys show them love, they'll show me love, and we get more cars on the channel. So like I said, it does make a lot of sense why you've gone for the 2 litre car, why you've gone for the colour you've gone for. I mean, personal use, there's no chance you can go for one of these, but I guess if someone is on a budget and they can't afford the running cost of a V6, then it does make sense. And I'm noticing the spec on this car is quite high. I mean, you've got it's not got memory seats, but I mean the electrically adjustable seats, Meridian sound system, and it is a lovely place to sit. I mean,
it's cozy. Especially when you're driving and you're cruising, it's a cozy car.
I agree.
It handles good. It's firm, like, you know, the BM. The handling is firm on it.
It's a sports car at the end of the day, so it doesn't lose any of that raw edge. It's just that you don't get that singing V6 or V8 in your ears. But
I mean, what do you think about the convertible versions? Because what it is with the convertible versions, the shape of the car changes. It's cut a bit. The back is a bit inside.
I personally don't like convertibles as much as coupes, purely because when a car is drawn, they design it as a coupe, and then later on they chop the top off and like, here's a convertible. And you lose a lot of the car. You do. You lose a lot of the back. Really. Like, this car's got presence. It has got presence, and like I said, if you were to go to an event and you went in this, you would feel premium. No one needs to know what you're packing.
And for 40 grand. This car is a lot for its money.
Well, think of it this way. A Mark 8 Golf R will cost you around 40 grand. And that's a base one with no options.
Exactly.
And you've got a pretty nicely spec'd one.
That's it.
So there you go. Bloody hell, the weight.
It's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, you can really feel the weight of this car. Oh my God! You just slow down hard. You just slow down. Bloody hell, the weight of this car, man. Can you feel the rear end?
It wants to slide out, but it doesn't want to slide out.
Bloody hell, man! You're driving. You're crazy, bruv. I'm actually scared. Bruv. This ain't even about the car. It's your driving.
It's good.
I'm actually scared. I'm holding on to 2 feet. I'm holding on to the center console and the...
Good.
Oh my God! Steep bend, it's a hard, sharp bend. Bloody hell, man, you're driving this scary! Yeah, you're lacking the soundtrack. You know, sometimes 2 litres can sound good. This doesn't sound good at all. It sounds very diesely, very talky.
Like, even though it's on Sports Plus, like, you can feel it.
Chopping!
Don't worry, Jaguar got us. It got us.
I'm actually scared, man. Because this car doesn't feel It doesn't feel nimble. That's the thing. The car.
It's really heavy. This is what I don't like about it. Like you can't flick it around.
Yeah.
But
that's why
it doesn't want to be flicked around.
But as you're doing the national speed limit, I'm getting scared because it's like the car is not designed for it.
Yeah, like you know when you move the steering wheel to the left, right.
Yeah.
It's like it takes some time to move with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think just it's because of the weight.
Yeah. So I think the best way to sum up passenger experiences, it feels special from being in the car. It feels special when you're in the car, but I have to say, in terms of speed, on paper 300 brake horsepower is a lot, but
I don't think
you just don't feel it because of the weight. And the other thing as well is, as harsh as we're being on sound, this car's a 2018 model. It's gonna have a petrol particulate filter, so that's why it doesn't sound as good. Like, just think about how muted the exhaust is. You know, I guarantee. So I'm now behind the driver's seat of the Jag, and I have to say that you can tell that you're driving a sports car. Like, the dashboard is very small. I mean, literally your vision is so limited in regards to the window you're looking out of. It's so cocooned in. Even the low roof line, like if you're above 6 foot, I think you're really going to struggle in this car. I mean, yeah, I'm already on the lowest setting already, so I can't go any lower. So I mean, I'm 5'10". I've only got about 2 inches above my head, so you are going to struggle. But it does give off the sporty vibe though, just by the seating position and the small windshield. I mean, even with the seat, you can't move it all the way back because obviously you've got the parcel shelf or whatever you want to call that behind you. I guess if you are a large chap or you are a tall person, the F-Type's probably not the car for you. But apart from that, it is a very nice, aesthetically pleasing car to be in. There's another Jag over there, but he's got the yeah, it's a good looking car. This car is actually built on the XF's platform, but they shrunk it, I believe, which is a cool little nugget of information. It does sound very diesel-y though, because I feel like you can hear the turbos more than anything, especially because it's got the petrol particulate filter. But the gearbox is very responsive. I mean, the ZF8 Speed is an amazing gearbox, and it's quite easy to place it on the road. I thought it would be a bit more daunting because it has got a big bonnet, hasn't it? Yeah. But you can actually really place this car well.
But I mean, if you're first time driving like these sort of cars, then it does get a bit, I think.
It can, because the bonnet is quite long and it's quite hard to place. But even this B pillar, it is a bit obstructive about where it is.
Blind spots and stuff.
But no, there's another classic Jag there. It's a bit of a Jag day today.
Jag is like a countryside car. British.
It's a proper British car, man.
Like, you won't see these much in like local cities and stuff.
Because you've got to be a very refined gentleman to actually want a Jag. And it's not even Jag, it's Jag. Jag. But yeah, it is a lovely place to be. I mean, one thing though is the interior does feel very similar to a lot of other JLR products. I mean, this is very little different to what a Land Rover even is, or Range Rover, you know. It's the same sort of similar interior. I mean, even the gear lever is out of a Range Rover. But you can't be angry about that, because what's a VW and an Audi then? You get the same gear levers in those, isn't it? And you get the same switches, so they're just trying to cut costs. I am quite disappointed that this car hasn't got a virtual cockpit though. For a car of this age, which is 2018, it should have come with a virtual cockpit.
I think from 19 they started to. Even some of the 19s don't even have.
But that's what I'm saying. If that was probably an option then, which I think is quite ridiculous, because a car of this age should just come with it. Do you not think so?
Yeah, with the look as well. Everything.
I agree. It's just got this look to it, and we were talking about this earlier. This car is apparently the spiritual successor of the E-Type, isn't it? And that is a very iconic car in Jaguar folklore, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, and that's exactly why the bonnet opens the other way around. It's in homage to that car. But yeah, the build quality is pretty good. I mean, there's no squeaks and rattles.
Literally press onto it firm.
Literally, good. I mean, look, does that sound cheap? It doesn't. And I mean, although I don't know if this is the extended leather pack or what, but there's some high quality premium materials everywhere in this cabin.
It feels premium, like it does. As mentioned before.
It does.
I feel premium in it.
There are some cheaper materials. I mean, they're not leather, they're this synthetic leather, but at least they're synthetic leather. They're not elephant's bottom. You get the plastic elephant's bottom looking one, don't you? So it's honestly not a bad place to be. I actually really, I mean, for someone that wanted a Jag, if I imagine myself to be like a 40-something-year-old man who really wanted a Jag F-Type, but I can't afford the V6 or V8, this makes a lot of sense. It does make a, now that I'm driving it, it makes a lot of sense, because as I'm cruising, look, he doesn't know what I'm driving, he doesn't know what I'm driving, she doesn't know what I'm driving. For all they know, I'm driving the SVR, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
And that's part of the appeal of this. They don't know what you're driving.
So the only way you can tell is if you look at the back.
Yeah, and if you put your foot down.
Yeah.
But if you are someone that doesn't really do much with their cars, I guess the 2-litre does make sense. This is genuinely a lovely place to be. I'm seriously finding any flaws with this car in regards to the fact that it's a 2-litre and when you're using it normally. But I'm sure when I decide to press on, the weaknesses will start coming out. But overall, I'm more impressed by the build quality.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear the best things about Jaguar Land Rover cars.
I know, like, yeah, obviously.
There's so many horror stories.
Yeah, Land Rover, they're known for, you know, the alignment.
Yeah, they're like panel gaps, there's so many electrical issues, you name it, they've plagued with issues, but I didn't expect it to at least feel this good to drive.
Yeah.
So, see how it is. No DSG bangs or ZF bangs or whatever you want to call it. It feels very unsettled.
Yeah,
I can feel it wobbling.
When you start putting power, you just see you were cruising a bit ago.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's okay. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But
literally.
once you start putting power, now it's like it's stiff.
It just feels so unsettled. Like, why are you doing this to me? The car's basically screaming, why are you doing this? I mean,
why are you abusing me?
Yeah. The brakes are quite spongy though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very spongy. I mean, you're pressing down on them quite hard and you're like, where's the feel? There's no feel, is there? As a cruiser, I honestly can't fault it. Like, as we're cruising now again, because there's a bit of traffic, you can't cruise it. It's such a comfortable car.
I feel like it feels more nice to drive on comfort than when you put your foot down.
Yeah.
Like, do you see?
Yeah, because the car's more predictable, I feel like. Sports mode, I feel like
it's just over revving.
Yeah.
Like, it's just trying to catch up with the
exactly,
rev.
and it's over revving, right? And this is the thing, because it's a 4-cylinder, no one wants to hear a 4-cylinder revving. It just sounds nasty. Whereas if it was a V6 or a V8, you want to hear it rev out, isn't it?
That's it.
All of it just plays in hand with everything, isn't it? The experience. Look, it's just holding the revs.
That's what I'm saying. So
and because it's just, I know exactly what you're trying to say. It's just one of those cars that I don't know how I feel. It's just such a mixed personality, and I think that the part of the problem with this car is when they designed it, it was designed with a V6. So to suddenly just put a 4-cylinder, that's what we ended up with. The P300 F-Type is not a car that will blow anyone's socks off. It's striking to look at, much like any other model in the lineup, but it lacks the drama and symphony of the other variants. It caters to those that can't afford the bigger displacements or those that ultimately have no use for it. The main target audience for this car must be young people that have high insurance premiums, as well as catering to an older clientele that just want to cruise in a premium British sports car and have no interest in obtaining miles per gallon, but rather turn heads as they cruise. Ultimately, I can't blame JLR for producing this model, as making a vehicle more accessible translates into more sales. I can honestly say the power plant doesn't suit it, but there's clearly a market for this engine, and they'd be fools not to take advantage. Thanks for watching. Do remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.